The do's and the don'ts when it comes to scripting. Here are a few do's and don'ts when it comes to increasing that scripting power. I haven't recorded a scripting video in quite some time, so I thought this would be the perfect one to kind of intro back into that conversation because I know you guys all love it so much. So here are some do's and some don'ts when it comes to your scripting and what's going to amplify the power, the law of attraction, and increase your opportunity of experiencing whatever it is you want and desire in your life through that process of scripting. Okay, let's start with my number one do and my number one don't. Do use your feeling. Use just the sensation of feeling. Don't overthink. I get so often, whether it's on YouTube or my social media platform, Instagram, Ashley Hall Art, I get so many questions when it comes to writing. A lot of people get stuck in the beginning, they don't know what they're saying, they're overthinking it, and that creates stagnation. When we're creating anything in our life, we must be in flow, in harmony with it, so that we can experience it. And the same goes when you're scripting the law of attraction. You wanna be in the feeling. So instead of overthinking and you sit down on the piece of paper and you're writing and then you get stuck, instead of remaining in that overthinking like, oh, what am I gonna say next? Oh, what am I gonna, just be in the feeling, be in the flow of it. Keep writing until it becomes this hypnotic type of writing sensation. Sometimes you have to work through a little bit of space before you can enter that hypnotic state, but we can only enter that hypnotic state when we put our thoughts aside and we enter into the feeling. So whenever I get stuck, which I definitely get stuck, you guys, you know, I script every day, but some days I get stuck, some days it flows, and the days that I get stuck, I just drop into my feeling. I write how I want to feel. I'm so grateful now that I align with the goodness of the universe. It's all around me. It is me. I'm so grateful that I show up in that type of state, in that space every single day. And it's just flowing with whatever you want to say. Don't overthink it. Don't even think about it at all. If you want to talk about the flowers blooming outside, talk about the flowers blooming outside. Be in the feeling. Start aligning here with how you intend to feel. Bring that happiness alignment now in your scripting rather than focusing on specific things that you think you should write. It's when we get into those I think we shoulds that we get out of that form and that state of creativity. It's when we are in creativity that the universe, the connection to divine flows into our experience and literally writes the words for us. So that's why my number one is get in that feeling. Do get in that feeling, don't get in that overthinking. If you find yourself overthinking, because you know, we all overthink, just take a step back, take a breath, and focus on writing how you wish to feel. I feel so happy. I feel so blessed and so honored to be alive today because get in your feeling. Number two, do have gratitude for present and future. Don't reminisce on any negativity and any negative things that are happening now, in the future, in the past. Our journals and our scripting is a place where we bring our highest self. It's where we are creating the life we intend to live. That has no place for toxic, negative things that are happening maybe in our outer experience right now. We want to bring goodness and align with goodness. Toxicity breeds more toxicity. If we are talking about toxic things, toxic people, toxic anything, it's going to bring more of that into our energy field. And scripting is about creating a positive energy field. So that means you are bringing gratitude. You're reminiscing and you're experiencing gratitude for what is right now and what is to come. I oftentimes like to recommend to people not to focus too much scripting on the past. Our scripting is dedicated towards the now moment, creating that intention to feel good and bringing that intention into our future moments. It's drawing what we want to experience in the future into right now. So there's no place for toxicity there. You know, if you feel like you have to let go and diary and journal about negative or toxic things, maybe use a separate journal for that. But keep your scripting journal strictly and purely about that gratitude. Gratitude for what is, what's happening, how you're growing through whatever, right? We're not a victim to our life. It's happening for us. So that's where our scripting takes place. It takes place in that positive. It takes place with aligning with what we wish, what we want to feel good, how we want to feel, what we want to create. So that's why my number 2 is super, super important. If you want to reminisce or you need to have, some purging experiences, use a separate journal. But this scripting journal and your scripting entries are all about creating and harnessing the power of positivity. That power of positivity is what's going to radiate, create an energy field that is a complete magnet, you guys, magnet to miracles. My number 3 do's and don'ts when it comes to scripting is one that can be rather challenging for a lot of people, especially my type A personalities out there, my go-getters. This one can be a little tough, and that is do let go of control. Let go of control over what it is you think you should say. So don't expect or don't just be in what I should say, what mom thinks I should say, what I should say because this is what I want to attract. It goes in alignment with my number 1, which is be in the feeling, be in the vibration of how it is you want to experience not only your day, but your life. When we're using the law of attraction, it requires presence. It requires presence with this moment, having a gratitude for what is right now. If we're expecting, so I wanna make, this certain amount of money, I wanna have this certain kind of car, I wanna have a Jetta. And I'm gonna write about having a Jetta every single day. That's totally, totally awesome. But some days are different than others. Some days getting in the creative flow means instead writing about just I'm so just honored and blessed to be alive. I'm so grateful for everything I have in this experience and that I have a beautiful car that I get to get into every day and drive myself to work. It feels so good to be a human being in this world right now, and I just have an immense gratitude for just simply being alive, giving kindness. So it still aligns with what it is you desire, but some days it takes a little more just creativity to drop into that flow. So I want you to let go of those expectations of what it is you think you should write, and I want you to be in the feeling. I want you to stop trying to control what it is you think you should say, what it is you think you should say in your scripting to attract a certain thing. And I want you just to get in that hey, you know what? I really desire this, and maybe it works for you one day and you're I'm so happy and grateful that I have a beautiful Jetta and I drive it around everywhere and this is super, super awesome. And maybe some days it's, you know what, I'm so grateful to be alive. This is such a privilege and an honor to be alive. So don't be super hyper focused on what it is you're trying to attract, and just be in alignment with the feeling, and then also trickle it into whatever it is you're writing and you're scripting about. Okay, let's hop into my number 4 scripting do and don't. Do get in a comfortable position. Get extremely just happy with your surroundings and set the space, set the tone for the intention of what it is you're dropping into. Don't force it. Some days forcing scripting doesn't feel as uplifting. We want to be in the upliftment of scripting. And some days that means you're gonna be some days I'm in my car. Some days I'm sitting outside. Some days I'm in a chair. Some days I skip it all together and I just write a list. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Don't put so much I have to do it. Be in that flow state with it. And I think that's kind of a common theme I've interlaced throughout all of the do's and don'ts that I've shared, but just do set the space. Recognize the importance of being in a surrounding that feels comfortable. It's when we can be in a comfortable place, we're in comfortable clothes, we're in a comfortable chair, we have a comfortable pen, pad of paper, we have tea next to us, whatever feels good. We're listening to music. I love listening to some Spotify playlists that I'll link below. Be in the alignment with creating that space, and don't force it. If you get all set up and you're in your zone and you're not feeling that writing after a page, after 5 minutes, then just sit with yourself and be present. Don't force it. Just be in flow with it. Do what feels good. My number 5 do and don't for scripting is do keep your scripting, your journaling private. If you feel called to share, like it's totally up to you, your intuition, but don't go share it with the entire world. Oftentimes when we're sharing really profound, deep seeds of wisdom that we create within ourselves, that we tap into, we can't control other people's reactions to them, right? So if we share this big, huge dream of ours and someone just like shuts us down and says, wow, that's ridiculous, you could never do that, it makes us feel bad. We kind of take on a little bit of that energy, even if we're aware of it and we're like, no, that's not part of my belief system. It doesn't matter, it's still there. So keeping your scripting and just allowing that space, that journal, you know, my journal right here, this is my safe haven. This is like my baby, you know, nobody reads these pages except for me. And that's such a beautiful experience to have. It's a relationship. You know, your scripting is a relationship. It's a relationship between you and this higher power in your life. This law of attraction, this magic that you get to experience between you and the pages. So I highly recommend when it comes to scripting that you keep that you really respect that privacy. You really respect those nourishing thoughts and you allow them to nourish you rather than going and just being like super open. I mean, I definitely, you know, if you feel called to feel vulnerable and to read something or share something, by all means, go do it. I'm not stopping you from doing that at all. I just do know that this is a very divine relationship. And I want you to respect that. I want you to think about all of these, and it also gives you the opportunity to dive into your writing deeper. When you know something is going to be private, oftentimes we'll let go a little more. If we feel like we're going to share it with somebody or whatever, we might hold back a little more. We might create more of that stagnation, that shyness, because we're in fear of being judged. And there's no judgment here. This is between you and your journal and this divine higher power in your life, God, divine, you know, whatever you want to call that experience. That's your relationship here. And I want you to respect that. It feels good that to know, and I write so much more freely when I know this is just between me and my journal. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this do's and don'ts when it comes to scripting. Scripting is a super powerful tool when it comes to the law of attraction. It's something I'm extremely passionate about. I have a whole scripting section in my playlist, so go check that out if you haven't seen all of my scripting videos. If you want me to record more scripting videos, I already have like 10, but if you want more, comment below. I mean, I'm always up for sharing more details, more insights into that, because I know it's something that's so profound in each of our lives. I've heard story after story after story after my story that scripting is just amazing because it truly, truly is. So I really hope these do's and don'ts help facilitate your practice and your journey when it comes to writing. And always remember that it just takes time. It takes just building that muscle. You know, becoming a writer, becoming an artist, it takes practice. So show up every day, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Do you and let go. Feel free, be in flow, and that is all you can do. Thanks so much for watching my video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, press that bell notification to be notified every single time I post a video. My name is Ashley Ducey with ashleyducey.com, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.